Hello and thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Our headlines this hour: CSOs raise suspicion about President Akufo-Addo's directive for the suspension and investigations into botched SML GRA $100 million deal and doubts KMG has the credibility to audit the transaction. Also in this bulletin, 21 persons arrested in Kwahu for breaking curfew protocols. Less than 12 hours after one person was shot dead and 4 others sustaining gunshot wounds in renewed clashes in the area. Details as the MCE calls for security beef up to tackle the situation. And also chaos characterizes MPP parliamentary primaries in constituencies with sitting MPs. Supporters besiege and destroy party property in Bimbila over an alleged unfair treatment to sole contender to Defense Minister Dominic Nitu. We are live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. My name is Razak Musbao. Please do stay. Now, some civil society organizations in the petroleum sector are raising suspicion about the directive by President Akufo-Addo for the suspension and immediate probe into the botched $100 million deal awarded to Strategic Mobilization Limited, SML, by the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Finance Ministry. They argue that KPMG lacks the credibility to investigate the matter. The directive by the president follows a documentary titled The 3 billion CD Lie by the Fourth Estate, alleging that a $100 million annual contract awarded to SML for monitoring the petroleum industry is not only duplication but does not contribute revenue savings. Here is a wrap from the excerpt of the documentary.
The GRA had backed SML's initial claim that it saved Ghana more than 3 billion cedis. The GRA backing comes despite the MD of the company, Christian Soti, denying the company saved the state that much.
That's why that 3 billion, I'm not. That's why I told you from the beginning. I said I don't know about this 3 billion.
We cannot say your intervention saved 3 billion.
No, I said 3 billion. I'm not. I've told you that I'm not aware, because when we were told about the publication, we even called the.
As we speak this morning, it's still on your website.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In fact, to be honest, I don't even know website matter.
Within SML itself, there are contradictions on this subject of the 3 billion cedi savings. This week, head of IT, Prince Sapong, contradicted publicly his boss.
So in estimate, what actually happened with the 3 billion is, as I talked about, the money is all about the volumes. So if there's an increase in volume, there's an increase in revenue. And since SML started operation, we can confidently say that there has been an average monthly increase of 100 million liters. So if you multiply it by 24 months, with the tax component that we are not even using the 1.74, we are using the old tax component, which is 1.44, that will arrive at the 3 billion that we talked about.
This current position of the head of IT contradicts his own earlier assertions when the Fourth Estate first put the question to himself and his boss during the investigations.
What we did was not even the accurate figure. We never talked about accuracy because we are not GRA. Only GRA can give you accurate figure. So when we are talking about this, it depends on how it was reported. So it didn't. No one actually said that we actually generated as like accurate. Yes. So there's a caption by a journalist.
The GRA claims in a statement that SML is only paid if there is value addition. However, the contract specifies that SML is not required to add value to the upstream petroleum and gold sectors. It will be paid as long as production takes place, receiving 0.75 cents per barrel of the 160,000 barrels of oil Ghana produces daily. Additionally, SML will receive 0.75% of the total gold production, amounting to about $50 million annually based on 2022 gold production figures. The GRA claims they signed a 5-year contract, but the Fourth Estate says the contract they referred to had a 10-year agreement and may have been updated. Listen to lead investigator Manasi Azuri-Awuni.
Some documents which I'm also sharing, I think page 13 of the 54-page contract mentioned 10 years. If they have reviewed it to 5 years, we requested documents officially from them. They have not responded to us. But if they have reviewed it, it doesn't change the fact that for the next 5 years, SML will be making more than $100 million US.
These inconsistencies, among others, between the GRA, SML, and the contract documents raise concerns about value for money and transparency, increasing public pressure on authorities to clarify the contract details.
Now let's bring a breakdown of that directive by the president on the suspension of the contract, and that's the Office of the President Direct Audit into SML GRA contract is the heading, and it reads that the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has appointed KPMG, the reputable audit, tax and advisory services firm, to conduct an immediate audit into the transaction between the Ghana Revenue Authority and Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML, a contract which was entered into to enhance revenue assurance in the downstream petroleum sector, the upstream petroleum production and minerals and metal resources value chain. Now, the statement continues and adds that the president further stated the terms of reference of the audit as follows: conduct an audit to ascertain the rationale or needs assessment performed prior to the contract approval by GRA and assess how the arrangement aligns with specific needs. Also, assess the appropriateness of the contracting methodology, verifying compliance with legal standards and industry best practices in the procurement process for the selection of SML. Also, evaluate the degree of alignment between current activities and the stipulated contract scope, identifying any deviations. Evaluate the value or benefit that SML has so far offered to the GRA through this engagement. As that review the financial arrangements, including pricing structures, payment terms, and resolution of any financial compliance issues. And finally, he says, submit a report on your findings on the above matter together with appropriate recommendations. Among the terms of reference of the audit as issued from the Office of the President over there. But the minority has described the appointment of KPMG by the President as a whitewash and too late, indicating that Parliament has already directed the Finance Committee to audit the agreement. One person who has been critical of this deal and called for action to be taken as private legal practitioner Kwame Jantua. Now, on Newsdesk a while ago, he advised KPMG to withdraw from auditing GRA SML contract.
The first question I asked myself when I saw the letter was that, is the President trying to tell us that from the word go, he wasn't aware of this SML contract? When you consider that nearly 90 members of his party went to the President to tell him to sack Akufo-Addo, and he did not allow. It goes to show that there is a strong bond between the President and the Finance Minister. And you're trying to tell us that the President knew nothing about it from the word go, and he's just hearing about it. When you ask GRA, and GRA will say to you, this particular SML deal was imposed on GRA. There are competent people within GRA to do what? To do this work. So there's more to it than meets the eye. And Parliament says they are going to what? They are going to investigate. I think SHRAJ should also investigate. All the bodies that are linked with this, we see that, this particular contract is not a contract that is transparent, we should get all these bodies to go into it. Why KPMG? Why? Why KPMG? Let's ask the question. Do they have the wherewithal to do it? Do they have a relationship with government? Is there any conflict of interest there with KPMG, coming in? Let those questions be asked. And let's be clear about this. But the president cannot tell me that really and truly, from the word go, he knew nothing about it. So why has it taken this long for him to say that, okay, let's suspend? What kind of discussions have gone on? Because the president and Akufo-Addo are bonded. So please, let's give ourselves a break. Yes, it's been suspended. Let's see what the results will come out. Let Parliament do its own. Let's see what results will come out then. Let GRA itself do its own. And let's see what will come out. For me, I think Siraj is well equipped to look at this. The Auditor General is well equipped to look at this. The security services, they are well equipped to look at this. If there is an element of corruption in this thing, I would even say that the special prosecutor is also equipped to look at this.
Well, that was the voice of legal practitioner Kwame Jantua. Meanwhile, lead investigative journalist at the Fourth Estate, Manasseh Azriel-Winnie, says there is enough evidence available for the case to be prosecuted. And also, meanwhile, now the police have arrested 20 persons last night in Nkwanta for breaking curfew protocols. Now, the Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry, imposed a dawn-to-dusk curfew on Nkwanta and adjoining communities late last year after clashes in the area led to the killing of at least 12 persons. Now, just yesterday, another person was shot dead and 4 others sustained varied degrees of gunshot injuries and separate attacks in Odome, Shala. Now, the 4 were among some 25 head porters who were attacked by unknown assailants were loading a truck with bags of Gary. Speaking on the incident and on Newsnight, the Municipal Chief Executive for Nkwanta South, Bright Lenwa, described the situation as worrying as he appeals to the warring factions to back down.
After the imposition of curfew, like I said, the destruction of property and life in the main town, Municipal Town, ceased. And as a result of all the patrols and the good work that the security services are doing, you understand? So that's what I said. Now it has moved out of town because of the presence of the security, and we have devised means and ways of trying to handle this. And
you can assure that even though it's gone out of town, it's a situation that you have under control. Are we calling for more security? Are we beefing it up? What exactly is the way forward then?
We've put additional measures in place, which I will not be able to come out directly to say this is what we have called for, this is what we have done, and all of that. So, but for me, the most important thing is that I'm still appealing to the stakeholders involved to ask their people to leave the bushes if they are there and to put their arms down so we return to the negotiation table.
Well, at the national level, though, I'm sure the Interior Ministry, amongst others, national security, are concerned about the situation. Are they helping in any way? And are you calling for more support, military intervention, amongst others, really? I'm sure
yes, I can say they are helping, they have helped, and they have helped a lot. Because it is from them that even the men on ground have come down. They deploy the men to come and assist and all of that. So they are helping, but like you said along the line, I think we need more support, and we are in talks with them. We need more support in several ways. So we are in talks with them.
Let's go live now to Nkwanta and speak to Adum News, Obrimpon Owusu, who is on the grounds for the very latest. Obrimpon, thank you for joining us. Let's start with the arrest. Who are these 21 people who have been picked up by the police?
These are mostly men who break down the curfew directive that have been imposed since 21st November 2023 last year by the Interior Minister. Yesterday there was a gunshot, as we are aware, where one was confirmed dead and 4 other persons sustained gun injuries and currently receiving treatment at Nkwanta St. Joseph Catholic Hospital. So as the part of measures to ensure that there's maximum security and protection of life and property in the area. The police and other security in the area have intensified their operations to ensure that residents comply to the curfew and its regulations. So, as at the time 5 p.m., where they are supposed to be in their various homes, these residents flouted the rules and they were arrested and will be charged according to the operations that they recorded themselves at that particular area.
Is this the first time an arrest has been made with regards to the curfew?
There have been several arrests since the imposition of the curfew in the area. Most people have been sent to court, and after court, some of them were also charged with conduct and the misbehavior of the curfew. So this is not the first time, but I think yesterday the number was so outrageous from the normal arrest that they have been doing, from the normal sometimes 5-2. But yesterday it was out of hand when they have to arrest over 16 or more, and 20 of them are still in custody and will be arraigned before the Ambassador Court tomorrow.
I mean, what about the shootings, though? Has any arrest been made so far with regards to the killings?
It is yet to be confirmed, but I can say there haven't been any arrests with regard to the shooting incident yesterday. But I think the police and other security men are still on guard and they are intensifying the operation. So we are yet to receive any communique from them. But as I speak with you now, there hasn't been any arrest with that regard.
I mean, what is the general mood in the area this afternoon? Are businesses and institutions open to the public?
Businesses are back to its normalcy. Residents are out there doing their business as usual. We've been to the principal street of Nkwanta. We can confirm that businesses are on its peak, but not as usual. It's not as its usual as we know the principal street of Nkwanta to be. But I can say that the business activities are ongoing. People are out doing their activities, and they'll be hoping that by 5 p.m. they should return to their homes with the curfew directive.
Well, Bripo, thank you very much, and of course we'll come back to you for more updates on that situation. Well, in another community, a communal clash between the Akufo-Addo and Akufo-Addo communities in the Ashanti region resulted in the destruction of several properties. The conflict is alleged to have originated from a misunderstanding between two communities on Christmas Eve as residents engage in reprisal attacks. Akufo-Addo reports vehicles, houses, and other properties have been vandalized.
The communal clash occurred on Christmas Eve after a misunderstanding erupted. This unfortunate event resulted in the vandalism of several vehicles, houses, and school properties. It is alleged that in retaliation, Twede residents stormed Akufo-Addo to cause chaos. Already, some individuals have been hospitalized after securing serious injuries, leaving residents in fear.
They are organized themselves very well with the weapons, the local manufacturing guns, and the long cutlass, and started destroying the street lights with the stones, and started broke the motor vehicles here. They attacked all the motor vehicles here and broke their grasses here. And immediately we quickly called the police commander to help the community because we don't have any weapons to face them. And for that matter, we called the police to assist us.
Agogo ni ba ko da emergency etu aka nani etu na kanani nta homachina na omode ne ko emergency.
What happened was dangerous. A resident of Agogo nearly lost his eye after the clash. The Twede boys stormed Agogo with gunshots. Someone also got injured in the leg. This is serious. We are afraid someone will die.
Etutu no ye den. Ehia Agogo fo no. Nti ebo ba ko ani ana epete na egugu ba ko so bususe ana ka ba ko nan ana twi ba ko so eni echi say but we practice pa ne de to ni kan ni no on the emergency sie aye ka say it serious onu say either say obewu ana say be affecting adwen
ye ba die 1 o'clock time be say 1:30 die the be 3:30 mon it say the day okrum the bi say bia ye na boys bia na bia one night na bia monpon o me de ejomani afa me hwe na boy ekukoko so no okrum na no de ni ma gugangwan like fa metan panya na misore. After
the 31st night, we heard some noise. We got curious to find out. We found out that the Akufo boys had clashed with Chedie boys with knives and guns. They gave a warning shot, which scared everybody. They destroyed properties worth millions.
The police intervened promptly to control the situation, although the clash has disrupted transport services in the area. 2 suspects have been arrested as the police commence their investigation into the matter. For JoyNews, Nana Bwachid-Dankwa-Yadom, Kumasi.
To the MPP parliamentary primaries now, where some supporters have besieged and vandalized property of the governing New Patriotic Party in Bimbilla as the vetting of aspirant in constituencies begin today. The supporters, led by the constituency organizer, are alleging their attempt to remove Alhaji Ahmed Nuhu Zaruk, who is the only contender to the Defense Minister Dominic Nitu, from the vetting process. Now, the supporters destroyed windows of the party office and bent ties of the premises to register their displeasure. There are some irate youth of MPP in Bimbilla resisting alleged attempts to skew the elections in favor of Defense Minister Dominic Nitu.
No, we don't need him. We want the two of them to protect. What I want that's democratic. That's democracy. Really, the MP claimed that he's working for the constituency. Yes. Why is he running away from contest? If you say you are working for the people, you know you have the base air, the grounds. Why are you running away from the contest? From competition. We are in a democracy system, and we have to come out and then choose whoever wins and we will represent the party, and we will accept and support the person. Right now, we haven't gone to vetting, and we have already removed his name. And accepted on what basis? We want to know the reason why the name is.
Let's now touch base with our reporters on the ground for updates on that vetting process across the region, starting with the northern region, Martina, who is on the line. Martina, thank you for joining us. What can you report on this Bimbilla chaos?
Okay, so what we were told earlier was that Alhaji Zaruk has been called later to join the vetting, and so he'll be taking his turn tomorrow at 3 p.m. He held a press conference this morning to address the media to appeal for calm in the constituency. He called on the youth to refrain from any further violent activity because the party had assured him that he would go through the process. The process will be free and fair. Nobody is tilting or twisting any arm to favor anybody. And so he's been given the assurance that the process will be free and fair. His spokesperson said that they have spoken to their people to refrain from any act, and they have listened to them. And currently, Alhaji Zaruk is preparing for the vetting, which will take place tomorrow at 3. He says that he spoke with the party secretary, the national secretary, Justin Kodia, and they've come to an agreement that he'll be going through the process and be allowed to go through the process to be voted for. That is if he qualifies the vet.
But what is the progress of the vetting in the entire region, though?
Earlier on, I visited the place. They were getting set before I moved to the Tukaton. We are yet to return to the place, but we are told that vetting had started before I came on air.
Interesting. Martina, thank you very much for joining us. And away from that, members of the Asokwa Municipal Assembly in the Ashanti region have declared their support for the incumbent member of parliament for the Asokwa constituency, Patricia Appiah-Jay, who is seeking re-election after 3 terms in parliament. Ahead of the party's parliamentary primary vetting, the assembly members held a press conference to declare their support. Let's take a listen to the presiding member of the Asokwa Municipal Assembly, Elliot Fosu-Bano.
We have met here purposely to inform the populace or the residents of Asokwa Municipal Assembly the need to maintain and retain Honorable Madam Patricia Appiah-Jay, the incumbent member of parliament. This is as a result of numerous projects, developmental projects that we have seen in her time as a member of parliament. You can compare to our time when we were with KMA and when we got the municipal. As a member of parliament, she played an integral part of the municipal. And the municipal too, the MP is a member of the municipal. Is ex-officio member. Ex-officio member means she doesn't have voting rights, but she takes part of the assembly activities. If everything that emanates from the assembly, the MP is an integral part of it. And she's one of the MPs that has passion for local governance, and no wonder she's always present at our meetings. She has never missed our meetings, and when she comes to meetings too, her contributions are fantastic. She makes sure she directs us with experience from parliament what we are supposed to do. I remember when we were doing our budget, her input too was fantastic, and all these things have brought us to where we are and what we are seeing. Talk about development, we can talk about security, we can talk about health, we can talk about road network, we can talk about education. All these aspects, all these branches of development, she has done something there. As my brother said earlier, the West Convener said, Nana already said, when we talk about security, she has been able to provide motorbikes to Asokwa Police Command. She has been able to build police station, not post, at Dumpase. She has also provided street lights to electoral areas. Every time occasion, she provides street lights to us, and we also send it to the various communities, and you can see lights, though they are not enough, but she has done her part. On the road network, you and I know that she has done a lot. If had not been the problem that has confronted Ghanaians, connection with the Sino Hydro, Asokwa have been fantastic. But notwithstanding, I can say percentage-wise, almost 60–70% of our road has been tied, and the rest we are working on it through the secondary city and other government projects which she is spearheading. We have done a lot of things when it comes to road.
Well, let's come to the capital now, where my colleague Kenneth Jesse is at Teshi for some update on the vetting process that's happening there. Kenneth, what can you report for us from Teshi? Yeah, so we are trying to reach Kenneth Jesse for some update on the vetting process that's taking place in the Greater Accra region for the NPP parliamentarians, sitting MPs who are undergoing some vetting process before the election would take place later this month. We got some update from the northern region where there's been concerns about some issues over there. But let's stay in the Greater Accra, Teshi, where Kenneth Jesse is at Teshi. Kenneth, what can you report for us from Teshi?
The MPP parliamentary hopefuls. Right, Musbao, we're currently at the shelter at Teshi, where parliamentary candidate hopefuls of the New Patriotic Party are being vetted here. We've seen a couple of them. We've seen the presidential candidate of Ayawaso West Wagon, Lydia Seriam Al-Hassan. We've seen Michael Okwe from Dobi Kwambenya. And then the supporters of Michael Okwe are actually saying that they are not going to make the mistake they made previously by voting for Sarah Adjoa Safo. Now, we've been told that the Ayawaso West Wagon vetting has been put on hold due to some internal challenges within that constituency. Currently, the man that is looking forward to replacing Carlos Ahinkra at Tema West is addressing the press right now, Nana Boache. A few of them have also come in. We've seen Dokua come in. We've seen a couple of them come in. The support is great. A lot of them are also expected to come in pretty shortly. So that is what is happening here, Musbao, if you can hear me. Not much is going on. The vetting is going on smoothly. No qualms, nothing untoward has happened, which we're not expecting to happen. So, yes, that is the Tema West parliamentary candidate, hopeful, who will be speaking to us live on JoyNews. Welcome, you're live on JoyNews.
Hi, thank you. And
how did the vetting go?
Well, it was a friendly conversation and an interaction of party people. Well, having worked for this party in the constituency from the polling station level to being the constituency chairman of the party, virtually the panel members, which included the former majority leader of our party in the constituency, Honorable Abraham Oseedu, knows my involvement and my role within the party all these years. I became a first polling agent for him then when he was contesting. So it was a friendly conversation, and how the regional party wants me to know how I'm going to increase our voter margins as against the NDC in our last elections.
Should you win, you will have a Herculean task of helping your party to break what you call the 8. Do you think, as things stand now, your party has the capacity to break the 8?
Well, as it stands, we are in pole position to breaking the 8. The youth of Tema West have seen development being done by our current MP and the people and the human capital development he's put into the constituency now. And I think that continuing from where he's left off and explaining ourselves and selling our message, we are in pole position to breaking the 8 come 2024.
Your General Secretary, Justin Kodia, recently mentioned that if you are a minister and you feel you're tired, kindly resign. Do you share in those sentiments?
Well, I believe that he said that due to what he's heard or what he's seen sitting in the high office of the General Secretary. So I would re-echo his message that if you're a minister or a CEO working for this government, you should first and foremost understand that it was the party that gave birth to the government, and then party is going into an election in 2024. So we need them to be up and doing and up to the task to enable us sell their message from their various ministry, department and agency to help us break the 8.
Have you personally seen some ministers who you feel are tired and should hang their boots?
Well, I feel everybody is doing wonderfully well, but from where the General Secretary sits, maybe he sees more than I see. So it's important I re-echo what my General Secretary said.
Thank you very much. Musbao, so that is the parliamentary candidate hopeful for the New Patriotic Party at Tema West, and we will now speak to the coalition chairman of the New Patriotic Party at Tema West. Right. Okay, you've been here for quite a while. How has the process been so far?
Oh, it's been good. For me, as constituency chairman, I believe that the nature of the constituency and the way things are going in the constituency, I've decided to give everybody a level playing field. I'll make sure the processes are followed. Whoever wins, it's my duty to make sure I make the person the MP of the constituency.
All right. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so Musbao, these are the scenes currently here at the shelter at Teshi, where some incumbent MPs are coming in to be vetted. New entrants are also hoping that they'll pass vetting and then be able to represent the New Patriotic Party come December 7th, 2024. So live from the shelter here at Teshi.
Yeah, so that's my colleague Kenneth Jesse all the way in Teshi. Well, let's get to the Ashanti region now, where the process is also underway there. My colleague Nana Kwahu is stationed at Asokwa for some updates. Nana Kwahu, can you also tell us what is happening in the Ashanti region at Asokwa, where you are stationed?
Well, Musbao, the process began around 10 a.m. Some members of parliament, incumbent members of parliament, I must say, have come through the vetting process already. At this moment, we are having the incumbent member of parliament for Adansi Asokwa, Katie Amond, going through the vetting process inside the auditorium. And so we would get to speak to him right after the process. But then I must say that Ahafo-Addo, North and South members of Parliament and an aspirant have been here to pass through the vetting process. Later onwards, we'll be expecting the Energy Minister and Member of Parliament for Menchia South, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, alongside some other people contesting him for the Menchia South seat, to also pass through the vetting process for today. Later onwards, Vincent Ekowasafua, the Member of Parliament for Old Tafo constituency, would also pass through the Asokwa party office of the New Patriotic Party to also go through the party's parliamentary vetting today. But I must say that the process is not only going on in the Asokwa constituency, it is also going on at the regional party office at Krofrom, where some members of Parliament, incumbents and aspirants, would also go through the process over there. But then I have an aspirant seeking to unseat the incumbent member of Parliament for Adansi Asokwa, KT Amond, here with me. He has been through the vetting process, and I must speak to him. Honorable, how's the process been for you?
It's been very smooth and easy. This is one of the things that makes me love MPP, because it's fair. I mean, it's smooth, and there are no issues whatsoever.
Looking at the contest, you are looking forward to unseat the current Minister for Trades and Industry, KT Amond. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels cool. You know, 2020 I contested him. He was saved by an inch.
Saved by an inch?
Sure. He was saved by at the last minute. So the delegates said then that we should give him, one last chance for him to go through. Faithfully as it is, they gave him the last chance. He's gone through, and now it is all over. So it is time for a new face. It is time for a new image. It is time for a new direction for the constituency of Adansi Asokwa. And that's the process that we have started. After 27th, there will be a new parliamentary candidate for Adansi Asokwa.
In a short message, KT Amond, before going through the vetting process, in fact, before getting to the auditorium, he says he is going to retain his seat. What of that?
It is easier said than done. It's easier said than done.
So how does it look like? In fact, 27 January is just here.
I'm telling you, I say it's easier said than done. So, of course, nobody will go into a contest and say that you're going to lose. Everybody will go into a contest with the idea to win. But if anybody followed all the processes that really transpired at Adansi Asokwa in 2020, the person will have a better appreciation of what happened and what is about happening this January.
So I must not look at just 27th of January. I must also look at 7th December, where we would have the general elections itself. If you are able to pass through 27th January and unseat KT Amond, how does 7th December look like for you?
It's easy. We are expecting to elect Dr. Bawumia as a president and inaugurate him 7th January 2025. Also, we are expecting to retain the seat of Adansi Asokwa in the name of MPP and make sure that we maintain, not only maintain the seat we have there, but also maximize increase the seats we have in Parliament. So the difficult parties have to do with this primary. Once we are done with this, trust me, the votes that will go in 2020, we're going to increase it beyond your imagination.
Thank you so much for joining us. And so, Musbah, that is an aspirant for Adansi Asokwa constituency. He is seeking to unseat the incumbent member of Parliament and who doubles as Minister for Trades and Industry, KT Amond, who also got into the auditorium for his vetting process not long ago. But then I must mention the constituencies: Akrofrom, Obuasi East and Obuasi West, Adansi Asokwa, Old Tafo, Pankrono, and Menchia South constituency will be having their vetting here at the party office of the Asokwa constituency. I have the party communications officer here with me, and then I would want to engage him on the process, what it has been so far, looking at the number of incumbent members of Parliament and aspirants who have passed through the process so far. Shortly, how has the process been? I have seen KT Amond get into the auditorium to go through his vetting process. Generally, how has it been?
Well, as you've witnessed, I think all the process has been very transparent, has been very equitable for everybody who think he or she is qualified to be elected as an aspiring member of Parliament for the ruling party. So far, we have 2 centers where the vetting is going on. Here, our flag bearers campaign office in Asokwa, another one at the regional office at Krofrom. So I think the process has been smooth. as you can witness, but everything is okay, everything is going on according to the rules and regulations as set up by the 2024 constituencies, where we have certain members of parliament also contesting.
Thank you so much for joining us. And so that is a communications team member for the New Patriotic Party. We've had incumbent members of parliament and aspirants pass through the vetting process today. Musbao, I know we are definitely waiting for the Minister for Trades and Industry, who doubles as Member of Parliament for Adansi Asokwa, Katie Amon, to go through the process and then get him to talk to us. We'll definitely have to listen to Mr. Katie Amon. But I must say that there are 5 members of Parliament, incumbents, who are going unopposed. Dr. Say Yawaduchum for Bosomche, Efija Se Kwabre, Nana you a free, just so John and Piachum Kuma of Fenso South, Isaac Ya Opoku, and then Akrofrom, the Honorable Alex Blankson. And so this is the situation on ground here at the party office at the Asokwa constituency. We are waiting for the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Poko Prempeh, to also join the other members of parliament who have been here and other aspirants to also go through the process. And so this is the situation on ground. Musbao, over to you.
That's Nana Boachi there, all the way in the Ashanti region at Asokwa for some update. We're going to take a quick break and we'll bring you business with Emma Davis.
Hello and welcome to the business segment. My name is Emma Davis. The General Agricultural Workers Union is mounting pressure on the government to implement phase 2 of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. According to the union, the expeditious rollout of the program will largely support the government's quest of ensuring food security. Speaking to Joy Business, General Secretary Edward Kariwe advised government to also pay attention to food inflation this year.
We are experiencing now. The rice is lying in the sun and it's lying everywhere.
And that's the situation as we speak right now. That is the situation as we speak right now.
That is it.
Wow.
Yes, as we speak now. As we speak now. And then, of course, I've just been to the fields and I'm just speaking with you.
Okay.
And so you can see that by next month, that same rice will not be available. It will either go to waste or it is taken out. So the food security into the 2024 is precarious in the sense that you may find food within the system. Like I'm talking about the rice that is being dumped into the market. But you see, you need to have money to be able to access that. You know, those who have incomes will say that, oh, we can buy the rice and then use it. It matters not whether that rice is from the local producers or imported. For the consumer, once he has enough money to purchase the rice, then they will do so. But for the majority of the people who do not have incomes, because they are not wage earners, or even if they are wage earners, they have so much responsibilities on their heads they need to use their wages for, will end up not being able to buy enough. So food security is going to be a problem in 2024. More so, you can only eat when you have money to buy. But we are talking about a situation whereby we produce ourselves and we don't necessarily need to come out with money to buy to be able to eat. So for those people who have not got money, food security is going to be so acute, serious in 2024.
The Association of Ghana Industries will continue to have further engagements with the Minister for Finance and Cabinet on the need for some of the taxes approved in the 2024 budget to be reviewed. This is to ensure that industries are not overburdened with taxes as the economy is showing signs of recovery. Chief Executive Seth Chumakwabwa, who disclosed this to Joy Business, hinted that some specific taxes in the budget could have been more targeted rather than generalized.
Some of the tax issues that we were comfortable with, there were others that were not tackled, and somehow we understand a little bit because government is also in a very difficult situation where revenue targets on them as a result of the IMF intervention. But we thought that there are certain areas that if you're able to tackle very well, it will stimulate production. Because if you take so much from the companies or industries, then you have a challenge stimulating production. This is a working capital that is being taken away from them. So those are the areas that we think that should be looked at. But there are also other areas that are generally good, but we have to look into. We see our position has always been that we have to do that detailed work. For example, there are waivers on importation of agri implements, which in principle is good because you want to stimulate agriculture. And therefore, if somebody is investing in agriculture and is bringing some tools, some implements, why should you deny them why should you impose so much duties on them? So government giving this as a waiver is a good thing. However, some of them, if you take matches, as the gentleman was saying, we have local production capacity, which is far in essence of what we need. Indeed, the local producers, if you put them together, the total production installed capacity is 50% more than the whole country needs. And therefore, why should you encourage importation by reducing or exempting them from import duties? So those are the details we have to work on. But I'm sure as we engage government, they will understand where we're coming from. That in the midst of trying to help, trying to come out with policies should not be overly generalized. You need to look at specific situations where you can run counter to your very objective, good, noble objective that we have. So those ones are the ones that we will look at. So generally speaking, the tax waivers and the duties that duty exemptions we got were good. The ones that were not tackled, I think we have to continuously engage government and see how best we can reposition those taxes.
That'll be all for business. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Emma Davis. Up next is sports. Please stay.
Let's do sports now on JoyNews Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abla. Former Black Stars assistant coach Maxwell Kennedy says that Thomas Partey is irreplaceable in the national team, that is the Black Stars. Chris Hughton named a 27-man squad for the African Cup of Nations to be staged in Cote d'Ivoire later this month, but Thomas Partey, who has been injured since October, was not part of the squad, and Maxwell Kennedy, who has worked with Thomas Partey in 3 separate tournaments, believes that the midfielder will be missed by the technical team.
Yeah, any day I will pick Thomas Partey. There's no doubt about it. But maybe, just maybe, from where we are sitting and where they are, they know best. I mean, they will be, having contact with Arsenal to see how best his situation is. So, in this case, we cannot sit here and we wish to have been part of it. But if he's not part of the group, they are there, they can take the best decision for Ghanaians. I said earlier on that the decisions they are making over there, they will not make it to satisfy themselves, but for the entire Ghanaian public. So I believe that is the right decision. If Partey was ready, I believe they would have brought him.
Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okreko, he has called on Ghanaians to throw their weight behind the senior national team to exercise the ghost that has haunted the country in the last 42 years in Ghana's quest to win the African Cup of Nations. According to him, the quality available to Chris Hughton and his technical team is enough to be able to win the tournament.
We have one senior national team, men. And this senior national team men is called the Black Stars. And once the men for the job are announced, they are our warriors. Let's get behind the squad. Let us leave behind us all the pre-announcement discussions. And as Ghanaians, let's push and put our weight behind the men who have been picked to go to Côte d'Ivoire to fight for glory for our dear country. This is the only way the boys will feel the adrenaline levels of our countrymen and women. This is the only way they will then be very focused on delivering that target of envy. We all know that the performances of our dear team has not been too stable. But this is the moment that the boys need our undiluted support. When the times are very difficult, when the times are very unstable, those are the times they need your support, my support, and the support of the entire country.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on my Joy Online.
Well, that's all we have for you on News Today with me, Razak Musbah. We have more stories on myjoyonline.com. Please do head there and stay updated. Do have a lovely afternoon. Up next is Marketplace with Darryl.